Hello everyone, meet Mittens, my cat. Well, my is a loose term. She's more like a furry little comedian who's rented out my house for her act. And trust me, the punchlines are never ending. She's got a knack for finding trouble. Or maybe trouble has a knack for finding her. Either way, it's hilarious. Mittens is a master of disguise. One minute she's an angel curled up on the couch, big green eyes full of innocence. The next, she's a tiny furry hurricane tearing through the living room, leaving a trail of chaos in her wake. It's like living with a four-legged jester who only speaks in meows and mischievous glances. But here's the thing, even when she's driving me crazy, I can't help but laugh. There's just something about her clumsy antics that makes my heart melt. So buckle up and get ready for a glimpse into my life with the funniest feline on four legs. Remember how I said Mittens is a master of disguise? Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her talents. You see, Mittens isn't just about looking cute in funny costumes or hiding behind objects. No, she's got a whole repertoire of skills that would put any escape artist to shame. Well, she's also a master of escape. It's like she has a sixth sense for finding the tiniest gaps and the narrowest spaces to slip through. I've seen her do things that defy logic and physics. It's almost as if she can bend the rules of reality to her will. She can wriggle out of any situation. Whether it's a tight space between the couch and the wall or a gap in the fence that seems too small for even a mouse, Mittens will find a way through. It's like watching a liquid flow through cracks. She just molds herself to fit any opening. Seriously, Houdini's got nothing on this cat. I've seen her perform feats that would make the great escape artist himself jealous. She doesn't just escape, she does it with flair and style, almost as if she's putting on a show just for me. Once I found her trapped inside a cabinet, or at least I thought she was trapped. I had no idea how she got in there, and for a moment I panicked. But then, with a flick of her paw and a twist of her body, she was out, looking at me like it was the easiest thing in the world. How she got in there, I have no idea. It's like she has teleportation powers or something. One moment she's outside, the next she's inside, looking at me with those big, innocent eyes as if to say, "What? This is normal?" I swear she looked at me as if to say, "Nope, this isn't what it looks like." And then she just sauntered off, leaving me to wonder if I had imagined the whole thing. It's moments like these that make me question my own sanity. Another time, I closed off the bedroom door to keep her out while I was working. Big mistake. I thought I could finally get some peace and quiet, but Mittens had other plans. She scratched at the door for a bit, and then everything went silent. I thought she had given up. 5 minutes later, there she was, lounging on the bed like she owned the place. I have no idea how she got in. The door was still closed and the windows were shut. It's like she has her own secret passages that only she knows about. To this day, I have no clue how she managed that one. It's one of the great mysteries of my life. I've even considered setting up cameras to catch her in the act, but I have a feeling she'd find a way to outsmart them too. I even bought one of those child-proof locks for the cabinets. You know, the ones that require the dexterity of a brain surgeon to open. I thought, this will surely keep her out. But Mittens saw it as just another challenge. You know, the ones that require the dexterity of a brain surgeon to open. I struggled with it for a good 10 minutes, feeling pretty proud of myself once I finally got it installed. I thought I had outsmarted her this time. Yeah, she figured that out in about 5 seconds flat. I watched in awe as she pawed at it a couple of times, then used her teeth to manipulate the mechanism. Before I knew it, the cabinet was open and she was inside, rummaging through my stuff. This cat is a genius. Or maybe she's just incredibly determined. Either way, it's both impressive and a little bit terrifying. I sometimes wonder if she's plotting something bigger, like a grand escape plan that involves the entire neighborhood. Or maybe she just really likes getting into trouble. It's like she has a radar for finding the most inconvenient places to be, and the most troublesome things to do. And she does it all with that same innocent look on her face. I'm starting to think it's the latter. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Mittens keeps life interesting, and her antics never fail to bring a smile to my face. She's my little escape artist, and I love her for it. Here's a news flash for you. Mittens doesn't believe in gravity. She's convinced she can fly. And honestly, after witnessing some of her stunts, I'm starting to think she might be right. Just the other day, she attempted to jump from the back of the couch onto a bookshelf. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well. Let's just say there was a loud crash, a startled yelp from yours truly, and a very confused cat hanging upside down from the curtains. But you know what? She didn't even miss a beat. She just gracefully untangled herself, well, as gracefully as a cat hanging upside down can be, and strutted away with her tail held high. It's like she's saying, "What, you've never seen a cat defy the laws of physics before?" No, Mittens, I haven't. But keep it up, you're making my day. Section 4. The Case of the Missing Yarn. If there's one thing Mittens loves more than defying gravity, it's yarn. She can spend hours leaping and bounding around the house chasing after a single strand. It's like watching a tiny furry acrobat performing a one-cat show. Her energy is boundless and her enthusiasm for yarn is unmatched. Any kind of yarn will do. Whether it's the softest merino wool or the scratchiest acrylic, Mittens doesn't discriminate. She loves them all equally. The sight of a basket full of colorful yarn balls is enough to send her into a frenzy of excitement. She'll dive right in, pawing and sniffing, trying to decide which one to play with first. But especially the bright pink, fluffy kind I use for knitting. She's obsessed. There's something about that particular shade of pink that drives her wild. Maybe it's the way it stands out against the other colors, or maybe it's the texture. Whatever the reason, Mittens can't get enough of it. She'll go to great lengths to get her paws on it, even if it means sneaking into my knitting basket when she thinks I'm not looking. And also a little bit of a yarn thief. I've caught her red-pawed more times than I can count. She'll wait until I'm distracted, then make her move. Before I know it, she's got a ball of yarn in her mouth and is darting off to her favorite hiding spot. It's like a game to her, and she always seems to win. I can't leave a ball of yarn unattended for a second. The moment I turn my back, it's gone. It's like she has a built-in radar for detecting unattended yarn. No matter where I hide it, she always manages to find it. I've tried putting it in drawers, on high shelves, even in locked cabinets, but nothing seems to deter her. One minute it's there, the next it's gone. Vanished. It's like living with a tiny furry magician. I'll be in the middle of a project, reach for my yarn, and find nothing but an empty spot where it used to be. It's both frustrating and impressive at the same time. How does she do it? It's a mystery that I may never solve. It's like she has a sixth sense for yarn detection. She can be in another room seemingly fast asleep, and the moment I pick up a ball of yarn she's there. Her eyes light up with that intense focused look, and I know I'm in for a battle. It's almost as if she can hear the yarn calling to her, beckoning her to come and play. I'll be happily knitting away, and suddenly, I feel a tug on my yarn. At first I think it's just a snag, but then I look down and see Mittens, her little paws wrapped around the yarn, pulling with all her might. She looks up at me with those big, innocent eyes as if to say, "Can I play too?" It's hard to stay mad at her when she's so determined. I look down and there she is, batting at the ball with her little paws, a mischievous glint in her eyes. She knows she's not supposed to, but that doesn't stop her. The thrill of the chase is too much to resist. She'll bat the yarn around, pounce on it, and then look up at me as if to say, "Isn't this fun?" And I have to admit it is. Watching her play is one of the highlights of my day. Of course, I try to be firm. "No, Mittens. Bad kitty," but she just looks at me with those big, innocent eyes, and how can I possibly stay mad? It's a losing battle. She knows it, and I know it. I try to scold her, but my heart's not in it. She's just too cute. But she just looks at me with those big, innocent eyes, and how can I possibly stay mad? It's impossible. She has this way of melting my heart with just one look. I try to stay mad, but it never lasts. Before I know it, I'm laughing and giving her a scratch behind the ears. She's got me wrapped around her little paw. The yarn, however, is a lost cause. Once Mittens gets her paws on it, it's game over. Tangled, knotted, and sometimes even chewed, my beautiful yarn is reduced to a mess. My knitting projects often end up in ruins, but I can't bring myself to be too upset. After all, it's just yarn. And Mittens' happiness is worth more than any knitting project. I swear one of these days I'm going to find a secret yarn stash hidden somewhere in the house. I have a sneaking suspicion that Mittens has a hidden treasure trove of yarn balls tucked away in some secret spot. Maybe under the couch, or behind the bookshelf. One day I'll find it, and when I do, I'll probably just laugh and give her a treat. Because in the end, it's all part of the fun of living with Mittens, the yarn-loving cat. Section 5. Mirror, mirror, on the wall. Mirrors have always held a certain mystique, haven't they? They reflect our world back at us, but sometimes they seem to show us something more, something deeper. This is especially true when it comes to our feline friends. Have you ever wondered what goes through a cat's mind when they look in the mirror? I have. It's a fascinating question, one that has puzzled pet owners and animal behaviorists alike for years. Cats, with their enigmatic personalities and curious nature, seem to have a unique relationship with their reflections. And I think I might have the answer, or at least a theory. You see, cats are incredibly intelligent creatures. They are also very territorial. When they see their reflection, they might not recognize it as themselves. Instead, they might see it as another cat, an intruder in their space, at least when it comes to Mittens. Mittens is my cat, and she has a very interesting relationship with her reflection. From the very first time she encountered a mirror, her reactions have been nothing short of dramatic. You see, Mittens has a very interesting relationship with her reflection. The first time she saw herself in the mirror, she was utterly bewildered. She approached the mirror cautiously, her eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of suspicion. The first time she saw herself in the mirror, she completely freaked out. She arched her back, her fur standing on end, and let out a series of hisses and growls. It was as if she was facing off against a formidable opponent. Hissing, spitting, fur standing on end, the whole 9 yards. It was a sight to behold. She would dart back and forth, trying to outmaneuver her reflection, only to be met with the same movements from her opponent. It was like she was looking at a monster, or maybe she thought it was another cat trying to steal her spotlight. The confusion and fear in her eyes were palpable. It was both amusing and a little heartbreaking to watch, or maybe she thought it was another cat trying to steal her spotlight. Over time, her reactions have evolved. She's no longer as terrified as she once was, but there's still a sense of wariness whenever she encounters her reflection. Nowadays, she's a little more used to seeing her reflection, but only a little. She'll approach the mirror with a mix of curiosity and caution, her movements slow and deliberate. It's as if she's trying to figure out the mystery of the other cat in the mirror. Most of the time, she just stares at herself in the mirror with a look of intense concentration, as if she's trying to solve the mysteries of the universe. Her eyes will narrow, and she'll tilt her head slightly, deep in thought, as if she's trying to solve the mysteries of the universe. It's a look that I often see when she's trying to figure out a new toy or a puzzle feeder. The same level of focus and determination. It's fascinating to watch. Other times she'll bat at the mirror with her paw as if to say, "Who are you and what have you done with my twin?" It's endlessly entertaining. She'll swat at the mirror, then quickly pull her paw back, as if expecting the other cat to retaliate. As if to say, "Who are you and what have you done with my twin?" It's endlessly entertaining. And slightly terrifying. There are moments when I wonder if she truly believes there's another cat trapped in the mirror, and she's trying to set it free. I'm pretty sure she's plotting something. Whether it's a grand escape plan for her twin, or just a new way to outsmart me, I can't be sure. But one thing's for certain. Life with Mittens and her mirror antics is never dull.